Mine are going to be long ones. So.
My question had to do with what we were talking about last time, and I started it, and then, so now it seems to me that if you had somebody who is living on $1 a day and whose children are starving, that it doesn't really do them a service to say, well, there is enough for everybody, but we can't give it to you right now, because they'd look at you and say, no shit, Sherlock, give it to me now. So I guess my question is, yes, their reality right now is that there isn't enough. And like I said, telling them there's enough for everybody, but we need to redistribute resources is not helping them. So what do you do with somebody who you're trying to bring this message to, who is in a situation where their life is showing them that there isn't enough, and it's not just a change of perspective, because their perspective is, I'm struggling to survive and my children are dying?
I would never try to bring a message as esoteric as this to people in desperate situations. And the situation that you described is simply the desperate situation. Mm-hmm. And so I would not try to do that. What I would do is seek to bring this message to people who are in a position to change the circumstance. I would go to people who are in positions of influence and see if I could not get them to change their belief system and to alter their consciousness to include the possibility of creating an environment within which such circumstances would not be allowed to continue, or at the very least in the short term could be alleviated. With regard to the people who are enduring such circumstances, I would never try to say to that person, there's enough, or insufficiency is a fiction, or any of that. I might, however, begin to teach those people, if they were willing to hear the message, some of the elementary and rudimentary principles of reality creation. Mm-hmm. And to see if by working with the group, the community of people in a given area, we might not raise, excuse me, might not raise the collective consciousness in such a way that they may not be able to accept the fact that there's enough and insufficiency doesn't exist, but they may be willing to accept the possibility that their lives could improve in the short term. In other words, my first step in a community of people who are enduring such conditions would be to see what I could do to eliminate hopelessness, rather than convince them. Again, I wouldn't go to the top of the pyramid. I wouldn't go to the large umbrella statement. It's too much for even some people who live the way we do to accept, much less for somebody in Darfur. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I think it's possible to teach hopefulness to almost anyone. And as a matter of fact, I think that hopefulness is what people in those situations deeply yearn for, a reason to hope. And I think that I could give them a legitimate reason to hope, not a false reason or a manufactured reason, but a real reason to hope. So I would then go into those communities and teach hopefulness and ask them if they would be willing to, first I'd see if they believe in God or any concept of a higher power of any sort. And if so, I would begin asking them some basic questions. Do you believe that this higher power could be utilized, focused, and in an organized, constructive way, directed to produce certain and particular outcomes? Maybe not by tomorrow morning, but in the long term. If I could squeeze a yes out of them, even if they just said, well, maybe, but show me how, I would, of course, then show them how. I believe that if the people of the world, in all situations and circumstances, the rich and the poor alike, were given a new sense of their own power to create the reality that they seek, to experience, that within a short period, I mean 10 to 15 years' time, which is a very short period on the scale of human history, that within a decade or so, a consciousness shift of such magnitude could be caused to occur that would in fact, I believe, begin at least to alleviate, if not eliminate, some of the desperate conditions to which you refer.
Mhm.